The Sony PlayStation launched in North America in 1995 with an awesome and memorable lineup of games ranging from fighters and racers to platformers and shooters. However, this was just the humble beginning, as the following year found developers discovering new ways to harness the system's power and create even more fresh and unique experiences that weren't possible in previous console generations. What were these games? Well, let's take a look at the best games from the increasingly popular system's second year. You're watching The Legend of Games.
Seven.
Often forgotten, but not unloved, Tobal No. 1 is one of the most unique fighters on the PlayStation. Featuring art by Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest artist Akira Toriyama, and using a graphical style that utilizes untextured polygons to allow a higher frame rate and resolution, no other fighter on the system quite has the same feel. And it's not just the graphics that make it stand out. Aside from the usual tournament and versus modes that are to be expected from fighting games, there is also an RPG-like quest mode in which you battle your way through dungeons with the ultimate goal of fighting bosses that can be unlocked as playable characters upon beating. Oh, and it plays pretty well too. Want to mix things up with a fun fighter that isn't your typical Tekken or Street Fighter? You might want to add Tobal No. 1 into your rotation. It's not bad for Squaresoft's first foray into PlayStation publishing, and trust me, it's certainly not the last time you'll be hearing from them.
Six.
Style, sophistication, the ability to launch napalm into oncoming traffic. If these are the things you look for in an automobile, it's time you test drive Twisted Metal 2. Fully automated weaponry, dual rocket launchers, and the new APS flamethrowing system. All standard.
Yeah, that's right, Twisted Metal 2. Released only 1 year after the first, this sequel improves upon the original in every way. The combat is exciting, the weapons are fun to use, and it has incredibly fun co-op and competitive multiplayer, filled with a cast of crazy and memorable characters. While Twisted Metal 1 took place entirely in Los Angeles, 2 ups the ante of its car combat tournament by making the world its arena. From New York to Hong Kong to this iconic Paris stage where you can literally blow up the Eiffel Tower. In another stage, you have to keep fighting as the sheets of ice below you continue to break away. The interactivity of the stages is pretty cool. In terms of shoot up your friends multiplayer madness, N64 had GoldenEye, and the PS1 had Twisted Metal 2. And while being limited to 2 players kept it from reaching GoldenEye's heights, don't let that fool you. It is still excellent in its own regard.
Drive the 1997 Twisted Metal 2 on PlayStation from Sony, and let style be your weapon.
Five.
The game that coined the phrase survival horror, Resident Evil takes the number 5 spot. So, first, let's get it out of the way. The game has shitty voice acting. I know.
Stop it! Don't open that door!
That was considered bad even back then. And there's those extremely dated tank controls. But it's still fun. I mean, who doesn't love doing this? Come on, that never gets old. While it is clunky, surviving the horrors of the Spencer Mansion is still a fairly tense and memorable experience. And with 2 choosable heroes and various story paths they can take, the game has a surprising amount of endings compared to most modern AAA games. There's something about the whole keeping your team alive and making it out of the mansion thing that's still really cool. The layout of the mansion is also very well thought out and fun to navigate despite the constant door opening. So while, yes, it doesn't hold up well at all in some regards, Resident Evil still has its redeeming qualities. Like old school survival horror, you'd be crazy to never give this one a try.
Four.
Speaking of tank controls, here's Tomb Raider. Okay, jokes aside, Tomb Raider is still a very good game to this day. When it came out in '96, it was second only to Mario 64 in revolutionizing how 3D worlds were presented in games. And while it can certainly feel a bit old-fashioned with its D-pad movement and combat, the level design is still excellent and its exploration puzzle-solving elements are as satisfying as ever. And when it's all said and done, puzzle solving is the meat and bones of the game after all. One thing that I like is how there are only 6 human enemies in the entire game, all with their own role in the story. Sure, there are a bunch of animals and monsters, but humans? When you meet one, you know shit's about to get real.
Say cheese!
That's completely different from any other game in the series and really most games in general. And I'm not saying games shouldn't have human enemies, I just think it's kinda unique and I always forget about it. Another thing I love about Tomb Raider that's a bit underappreciated is just how scary it is. Honestly, to this day I'm more on edge playing this game than Resident Evil. I mean, we all know the infamous T-Rex encounter. That's still a very intense moment, but now, do you remember this? Oh my god! That, along with a bunch of other moments, are legitimately effective jump scares that work quite well for how old the game is. There's a reason Lara Croft was so popular in the 90s, and this is it.
Three.
Out of this top 7, this is the one that probably the fewest people have played or even heard of. But, hear me out, Blazing Dragons is the best LucasArts-style adventure game of the PlayStation's entire library. The game tells the story of Flicker, an inventor who lives in the dragon-inhabited kingdom of Camelhot. In order to enter a competition to win the hand in marriage to his girlfriend, Princess Flame, Flicker must become a full-fledged knight. Thus, you set out on a puzzle-filled adventure. The solutions to the puzzles can be a bit silly, but luckily they're not impossible to figure out like the previous year's Discworld. It took some time, but I could beat this game as a kid with absolutely no help. The game features an incredibly impressive voice cast, featuring the likes of Monty Python's Terry Jones and Cheech Marin of Cheech and Chong fame. And the game makes great use of this voice talent. It's very funny and well written.
Are you feeling alright?
You've been experimenting with your chemicals again, haven't you? I can tell. Begone!
That's just one example of the risque jokes that this game, which has the equivalent of an E rating, got away with.
Whoa! Phew! Holy moly! It's a great big pile of shit! Huh? Bloody censors. That was my best line in the whole game.
I love how meta the game is too. The cartoony 2D graphics have also caused the game to age much better than some of the 3D entries on this list. And while it's not as well known as those games, anyone with a PlayStation who enjoys comical adventure games is really missing out if they haven't played Blazing Dragons.
We're on a shortcut.
A shortcut?
Quite. Why, I bet the designers took a shortcut by looping this road in 20 frames.
That explains it. Can you believe the audacity of those guys?
2.
For the PlayStation's first year, the system didn't really have its equivalent to Mario or Sonic. But in the fall of '96, Naughty Dog's Crash Bandicoot changed all that, even if it was somewhat unofficial. Thanks to some clever programming tricks, upon release, Crash was the absolute best looking 3D game on the system. The amount of detail in the levels is just so impressive compared to almost anything else from the time. The soundtrack is also incredibly catchy. Crash's theme has to be one of the most memorable songs from the PS1. These great tunes come courtesy of Josh Mansell and Devo's Mark Mothersbaugh. Being Devo adjacent is enough to give the game an extra point in my book. And it's not just the graphics and music that stand the test of time. The gameplay is as fun as ever. Once you start, it's hard to put the game down until you finish all 33 of its stages. Thanks to the variety in presentation from stage to stage, and some very fun boss fights, the game never has the chance to get stale. And luckily, the game's use of fixed camera angles has saved it from feeling as dated as other 3D platformers of the era. The game is admittedly harder than the other Crash games, mainly if you are trying for the best ending by smashing every box. If you die before beating a level, your box progress is lost. It can be frustrating, but not impossible. I give it a pass. The series may have lost its way a bit after leaving the hands of Naughty Dog, but pop in Crash 1 and you will instantly be reminded of why Crash was as big as he was.
One.
The game that revolutionized 3D gaming, Bubsy 3D forever changed the way we view games, with its fluid movement, lush environments, and... I'm kidding. Calm down.
1.
It may have taken a year, but in 1996, PlayStation finally got its first must-play RPG with Konami's Suikoden. The game tells the story of a general's son who ends up leading a rebellion against the very empire he was raised in. Unlike most party-based RPGs where you can recruit maybe 10 members at the most, Suikoden has an impressive 108 recruitable heroes. With such a huge cast and a large battle party consisting of 6 members, it is impossible to not find a perfect team for you. And, as an added bonus, certain characters can team up for cool special attacks. While a lot of RPGs revolve around saving the world from destruction, Suikoden mixes things up by making it about saving your kingdom from a possessed ruler. Yes, you heard that right, no one is trying to blow up the world. Not that there aren't some great villains in the game, but it's just such a unique take, and it luckily carried throughout the series. And I know I've said it enough already, but this game's soundtrack is perfect. From the battles to the towns, everything has this mood that's unlike any other series and works so well. There's something about the ever-evolving castle music that just makes me so happy every time I hear it. Speaking of the castle, that's something I absolutely loved about this game as a kid. As you recruit more and more members to your army, your home base slowly levels up from a musty old abandoned castle into a huge fortress. Walking around your castle and seeing what your new members have added is a great reward for your hard work. One more thing to love is just how streamlined the battles are. You can enter and exit a fight quicker than most other RPGs from the time take their battles to even start. You can quickly select a menu option to automatically have all your team members attack, or, even better, if your level is high enough compared to who you're fighting, you have the option to let go your enemy, giving you a 100% escape chance. If you're going to have random battles in your game, this is just about the least painful way to go about it, and I really appreciate how well done it is. And that's not to say all the battles are a walk in the park. There are some incredibly difficult, nail-biting fights, like this one against Necklord, a powerful vampire. You'd think 6 against 1 is an unfair fight, but if you want a sliver of a chance making it out of this one, you'd better bring all of your best fighters with a well thought out set of items and magic. And that's just one of many awesome moments, whether it's in battle or in the game's very well-told story. If you love RPGs, you owe it to yourself to play this game. Suikoden is the beginning of what would become one of the greatest RPG series of all time. And you know what? It's one of the greatest game series of all time regardless of genre. And it's exactly this greatness that makes Suikoden the best PlayStation game of 1996. And that's that, the 7 best PlayStation games released in North America in 1996. Tune in to the Legend of Games next time when we look at the top 7 of 97. Thanks for watching.